This is part 2 of the Great Moyes debate, The Rise of Bobbins. That title doesn't actually make any sense. Joshy was just telling us that ultimately these losses, painful that they are leading to the exit for David Moyes, which he sees as a good thing. Adam, do you agree?
It's like, I think...
I mean, any words that make sense. A coherent sentence would be ideal now.
I can't talk, I'm so hurt. It's like, I don't know, I don't think David Moyes is the man anymore, but it's like, I've got Fergie's words ringing in my ears, and I think it's happened with a lot of fans. I don't buy into this top red nonsense that people want to be a top red, oh yeah, stand by your manager. I think we've just got Fergie's words ringing in our ears. We know what happened with Fergie, and we fell in love with the story that David Moyes comes in, he's appointed by Sir Alex, and he takes the world by storm. But let's be honest, we're not seeing any proof right now to suggest that David Moyes is the man to take Manchester United forward. Yes, I believe he's got some very good aspects of his management, but I think he hasn't got the ego, the belief. I don't think he demands enough respect from players. And I don't think, I'm not saying, you know, he needs to strike fear and rule with an iron fist at Manchester United. What I'm saying is, them players, if we're losing at half-time against Liverpool or we're losing against City, when they're going in at, or against anyone, when Manchester United are losing and they're going in at half-time, they need to be scared. They need to be worried that, you know, hold on, something's not right here. My place is on the line, this is on the line. Like, we had Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, we know this is their last season. Why haven't we told Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand, like, it's your last season, go out with a bang? It's like we've completely written off the season, and it comes from the manager. And if you can't grind out performances with a team that finished 11 points clear last year and added in 2 players that some would consider that were 2 of the best players in the Premier League, and he can't even get us into the top 4, then in my opinion, he's not the man for the job. And it hurts me to say that because I don't like to see managers sacked. When AVB got sacked by Spurs, I was tweeting, you know.
You're not on the Tottenham board, we don't care.
We need to keep him.
Congratulations on making sense. It took you a long time to get there, but you did a really good job. But you told us earlier that you're not going to go to Old Trafford with banners saying Moyes out. Yeah, if you believe his removal from the club is a benefit long term, when is the time to do that? Because if you think, ultimately, his tenure at the club is damaging the club's reputation, it's damaging our style of football, it's damaging our appeal to players, and you know, it's ruining our chances of Champions League football. If you believe all those things, then you think he has to go for us to improve. Not a dig at David Moyes, just for the safety of Manchester United, he has to go. So when do you stop cheering and shouting at games, and when do you make a fuss that the board will listen to? And you,
me personally,
then we're going to have to fans.
Me personally, never.
But how can you
when
believe?
I walk through that turnstile, I'm there to support Manchester United.
That's right.
I don't care who's sitting in the board of directors. I don't care who's sitting in the dugout. I don't even really care who's playing for Manchester United because I'm there to support Manchester United. That's my team. We could be in the bottom division, we could be in the top division. I'm there to support Manchester United at the end of the day.
But big picture, what you're saying is supporting Manchester United is bigger than just that game. And it's long term. So that means you want this guy to go so that we can be successful in the future. So supporting Manchester United to the best of your ability is saying, get rid of him now.
Yes, I
Make
agree.
us successful.
I
Joshy,
agree,
where do you stand on this?
I can't do it.
Do you know, I'm actually on this thing. I'm with Adam. I'm not someone. I don't like going to games and being negative. Ultimately, I want to go there. I want to enjoy myself. And if it's not happening on the pitch, I want to enjoy myself in the stands. I want to sing the songs. I love doing that. I love the atmosphere, and I'm quite proud of the fact that the fans have
been incredible.
Exactly. You know, and I love the fact that I'm part of that. I won't go to Old Trafford and boo, even though I understand objectively and logically speaking, if we as fans want to contribute and be responsible or at least try and influence things, yeah, we need to be more vocal within the stadium. But ultimately, to me, I think that just damages our own reputation as fans because no one can come to us as fans and say we have been part of the problem. We have been, you know, within the stadium, it's been amazing. So I just don't like the idea of us being like that.
At the same time, no one's singing "We'll Go Wild, Wild, Wild" no more. No one's singing those kind of songs. We're singing about Manchester United. We're not singing about David Moyes. We're singing about Manchester United. We're there to support Manchester United. We'll be there after David Moyes, and we were there before David Moyes. So I'm not going to go there, spend over $1,000 following my team to go and boo. It's not a pantomime.
The one thing, as someone I've been to Old Trafford a few times this season working, and I have been surprised that in all this there hasn't been, if not quite dissent against Moyes, because it's understandable that people would want to retain this tradition of always backing the manager, but I'm surprised there hasn't been more dissent towards the owners and those that really have the power as a result of all this. So that's good, even though that might be indirect criticism of Moyes, it's not directly having a go at him. I'm surprised there hasn't been more of that.
Do you know why that is? It's because we're annoyed with the football on the pitch, and the Glazers have, in a way, they've done a good thing in giving Ferguson the decision. They've disassociated themselves from that because they're not football people. They've let Ferguson make that decision. And that's why, I mean, today in the papers there was reports that some people were abusing Ferguson.
Well,
I don't know if that's true, but like,
looking at it from the entire situation from a kind of detached perspective, it is very, very odd that in a kind of a multinational multinational institution like this, that such an important decision would just be left to an outgoing employee, or not an outgoing employee, but to a mere employee.
When you're talking about
it is a
fans,
very
though,
strange process.
I think a lot of it is pride, yeah, because when I was at that Liverpool game, you know, if you know for a fact, if we went quiet, yeah, and you hear those Liverpool fans singing, "You'll never walk alone," while they're 3-0 up, we're going to be hurting more. And it was just pride that just poured out of us. When we were singing 20 times for 20 minutes, I'm sick of that song. It makes us sound like Liverpool fans harping on about 5 times, but it's just pride. It's like we will not turn our backs on the club. Or
like the band on the Titanic playing while they went down with a ship.
I'm on the Titanic, I'm going down and I'm going to be playing the violin.
Very, very sad. So, lots of talk in the papers recently about the Chosen One banner, which is put up by Stretford End Flags, and claims that stewards were stopping it being taken down. Do you think that banner should still be there? Do you think it should be taken down?
I think, look, first of all, it should never have gone up. You need to earn your place in that.
I'd agree with that, I should say, yeah.
On that stand. You didn't see when we signed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his banner go up. No, he went up there.
Great banner.
He earned it and he got up there. Moyes never earned it, and somehow they've put this banner up. It should never have been up there.
Some great players haven't got banners.
Exactly, and now that it's up there, what I feel is if we start going on about, let's rip it down, you're just drawing attention to the fact, again, you're not letting yourself down as a fan, but I just feel it's really childish. It's drawing attention away from where the real problem is. And I'm someone that's sort of along the lines of, Moyes is going to dig his own grave. Why don't we as fans just do what we do and love doing, support the club, sing our songs, create a great atmosphere, and let him get on with ruining his own sort of tenure, and then he'll go. You know, that banner will eventually be taken down, and if he's still at the club in the summer, it will still go down in the summer.
Okay, I'm going to ask Miguel a question now. You've been talking too much. Miguel, we mentioned earlier that the papers aren't that big on getting rid of Moyes at the moment, and they're not putting too much pressure on him. They're only maybe a suitable amount because the team is losing. Do you think if there was more anger inside Old Trafford towards the manager, that the press would turn and they'd start printing, "It's time for Moyes to go"?
Well, it's possible. I think there's often a misconception here. It's actually quite rare, apart from in obvious opinion pieces or with certain columnists, that people will say, "Sack the manager." What often happens is that the journalists are just reflecting stories coming out of the club, and that gets perceived as, "Oh, you're trying to get him out." Well, that's not quite the case. I mean, the news comes from somewhere. I mean, despite what people think, journalists don't sit there. You know, we're talking to an awful lot of people. It's why last week before the Olympiacos game, because it was the first time that this was no longer unthinkable. The people, I mean, I know for a fact that certain suits at the club now have serious doubts, and I think one phrase I heard last week, which I think is very accurate, is he was on the brink of the brink. And I suppose Olympiacos pulled that back a bit, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens next.
Okay, right, so let's move on. That is the end of the second part of the Moyes Debate 2 Rise of Bobbins. Terrible title. The third point, there should be a link on your screen right now. If there isn't, get on youtube.com/FullTimeDEVILS. Don't forget the http://www. before the FullTimeDEVILS bit, or you won't get there.
From what I've heard over the past week, there's suggestions that the owners want the cover of the, I suppose, more fans turning against Moyes. So it's at least politically an easier decision to make.